Great morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. It is the day that the Lord has made. We are choosing to rejoice and to be glad in it. We say that the Lord is good and that his mercy endures to all generations. Great is his faithfulness to us. I am Angela Thornton, and this is Wise Word Ministry. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We do appreciate you. We appreciate you and we thank you. We thank the Lord because he's good and he is kind to us. He's good and he is kind. Hey, Japs Mill. So, y'all know some days there's just stuff happening and you are on edge and anticipation, and you know that you need a certain result, and that's not happening. You don't know that it's going to happen. So today is one of those days. We have something major coming up, and we need the Lord's favor. So if y'all would pray that this morning that we would get the answer and the result that we need to move forward on something pretty big. But in all of that, sometimes God says, be still and be quiet. Now, some of us know how to be still. We don't quite know how to be quiet. Some of us know how to be quiet. We don't know how to be still. And some of us don't know how to do either. But when you need the Lord to move, when only God can move in the way that you need moved, when this is a God thing, you've done everything that you could do and that you were supposed to do, and now it's left up in somebody else's hands. Like if you were on trial and your attorneys had done all they could, and then it's left up to the jury, you see, or an election, even though folks try to tamper. But sometimes God says, be still and be quiet. And sometimes that's hard. We like, yeah, but if I do this, and then if I do this, and then I need to do this, and then if I do this, yeah, then I'll do, yeah, and then y'all know how we do. And he says, be still and be quiet. Be still and be quiet. Father, we thank you this morning that you will speak through us, that these words will encourage those who are listening live or who will find us on a replay, that you will help us to be still and be quiet. Psalm 46:10 says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations, and I will be exalted in the earth. But it's that first sentence, be still and know. I don't just want you to be still. I want you to be still and know that I am God. That's what he said. Be still. Quit your fretting. Quit your maneuvering. Quit your, I need to call this person. Who can I call? What can I do? Be still and know. Exodus 14:14, the Lord reminds Israel, because they, they're going through this wilderness thing, and they like, look, you see all these ites? Ooh. You see all these ites, these Amalekites, and everybody extra ites, and chew the ites, and but he says to them, the Lord will fight for you, and you only have to be silent. Goodness gracious. The Lord will fight for you, and you only have to be silent. Now, several, 1,000 or so years later, David writes, be still and know that I am God. But he had told them back in Exodus, I got this. You just need to be silent. Woo-wee. Psalm 37:7. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourself over the one who prospers in his way, and over the man who carries out evil devices. Don't you worry about those making threats and blowing smoke and, manipulating and cheating and lying and scheming and, be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Be still before the Lord. Wait patiently for him. So when you find yourself fretting, and when you find yourself in a frenzy, and you find yourself, oh Lord, God, it's and and this is what the letter says, and this is, and be still before the Lord. Center yourself, quiet yourself, quiet your mind, quiet yourself, and remind yourself that the same God who has kept you thus far, the same one who has brought you this far, is the same one who will take you that far. David writes again in Psalm 27:14, wait for the Lord. Ooh, that's the hard part. Wait for the Lord. Because you like, when you coming? When you coming, Lord? I don't see you. I don't see you. See, if Kenny, Kung Fu Kenny, had waited for the baton, they very possibly would have won the gold medal. He didn't wait. He took off too fast. Sometimes we take off too fast. We want to, because we don't think God is moving fast enough, because we can't see it and we can't feel it and we can't hear it. So we make the phone call, we make the deal that we shouldn't have made, because in the moment, in the heat of the moment, in the middle of the situation and the urgency, we didn't think through the long-term effects of the deal, but it solved what we needed solved right then. And then we realized it wasn't worth it. We took the discount and it ended up costing us more. We didn't wait for the more qualified person. It ended costing us more. We said yes to somebody we knew we should never have said yes to, and it costed us more. We went somewhere, did something, hung out, and then realized, if only I had. Be still before the Lord. Wait patiently. Wait for the Lord. Be strong. Let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. Now, that sentence, that verse starts and ends with the command, the admonition to wait for the Lord. It's hard to wait for the Lord when what you see in front of you is urgent and you need a fix right now. It's hard. I imagine if you are in the entertainment business and someone is promising to help you with your career, if you would only do. And you've been at this 10, 15 years and haven't gotten the big break. And you lower your standards. It's hard when you are in ministry and you have been plugging away and it's been 15, 20 years and you still got these 15, 20 people, but you see Joe Blow over here who is just moving along, started last year, and now they're up to 600 people and the lights and then if you would just do, if you would just stop preaching Jesus, if you would switch up your style of worship, if you would just come into the times, if you would stop telling them all about Jesus, but tell them that they're next in line and prosperity is on the way and, the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just and, feel good. Wait for the Lord. Be strong. Let your heart take courage. And while you're being still and silent and quiet, cast all your anxieties on him. That's what Peter says, because he cares for you. It is difficult when you're in the moment and you're in the heat of the need. And so sometimes we as believers say stuff to people and they like, yeah, that sounds good, but my kids is hungry. You telling me Jesus cares. And we got this can of Vienna sausage between the five of us and there's four in the can. It is difficult to know how to still yourself, to be still and remind yourself that he is God. It is difficult to remind yourself that not every ministry is supposed to be mega in size. See, you can be mega in impact and never be mega in size. It is difficult to remember that not everybody is meant to win 3, 4, 5 Oscars. Not everybody is meant to be that kind of celebrity. Then maybe your impact and your imprint is what you think is a smaller stage, but is impacting the lives of more people in a greater way. And so while everybody is looking for big and grand and, we need the mic, we need the stage, we need the lights, you realize that might not be for everybody. And while in the moment, you may have an eviction notice. In the moment, you may have a repossession notice. In the moment, you may have gotten a horrible report. Can we remind ourselves to be still and know that he is God? Can we remind ourselves that the Lord will fight for us? We only have to be silent because we always want to have the last word. Well, let me just tell you one last thing. Let me give you a piece of my mind. Well, how many pieces of your mind do we have left to give? Because we have given a lot of people a piece of our mind. That might be why he says, I keep you in perfect peace if you keep your mind stayed on me and not trying to give it to other folk. Just a thought. Just the thought. We want to be right. We want to move. We want everything to go the way we want it to go. And we don't want any issues, and we don't want to struggle. We don't want to go through. We and when stuff happens, we need, who can I call? What can I do? How can we fix this? Who do you know? But do we first sit when somebody gets on your nerves? Psalm 4:4 said, be angry. Don't sin. Ponder in your own heart on your own bed and be silent. Is our first response. Let me tell you one thing. You better be glad I'm saved, because let me tell you something. You know how we do. Because the old me would have, you know the things we say. Because baby, pre-salvation, I would have, yeah, all of that. But can we remind ourselves that it is the Lord who will fight for us, and we only have to be silent? Stillness is absolutely impossible in our own strength, because it is human nature to fix stuff. It is human nature not to be still. It is human nature. Let me see who I can call. It is human nature. And we are humans with a nature. So yeah, it's hard. You want me to be still. You want me to do what? Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. God, how you want me to wait patiently? They got an eviction notice on my door. They got a foreclosure notice on my house. I got a repossession notice. I just got a pink slip from my job. I'm the sole income earner, or my family depends on the income I make. How you want me to be still before the Lord and wait patiently? Because who gonna pay the light, the water, the gas, the internet? Who gonna put gas in the car? Who gonna pay the car note? How these children go eat? It's time to go back to school, and they need school supplies. We can get by on not having new school clothes, because they got clothes that still fit. But we need school supplies, and where we're gonna live, and how you want me to be still before the Lord. Lord, I'm in this church, and 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 the average age is 73 and a half. And you told me to start this church. You told me to start this ministry. You told me to do this. You told me to go into full-time ministry. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do it? How do I wait before the Lord and be strong? What does strength look like? What does that mean? Do I not cry? What does that mean? If you say call them, I will. If you say don't, I won't. But what does that mean to wait for the Lord and be strong? Because I don't know how much strength I got left. You ever been in that place where you know how much strength you had left? Folk talking about, well, the Lord will fix it somehow. Okay, well, when is somehow? When is somehow? When that? When is that? When is somehow? The Lord will make a way. When? Where is the way? When is it coming? How will I know it's here? Be still and know that I am God. I know you're God. The Lord will fight for you. You only have to be silent. Well, God, it seems like I'm getting beat up all the time. I've lost battle after battle after battle. Okay, but it reminds me, if y'all know, World War II. God, when is it coming? If you remember in World War II, none of us are old enough to have remembered World War II, let me say that, but having history and movies, the Germans were winning. The Germans were marching. The Germans were taking over Europe. Baby, they was conquering everything. And the Germans marched into France. One of my favorite movies is Casablanca, and the Germans came through Paris. The Germans were taking over Europe. They were taking over Europe, and they were winning. And in that instance, if you were a believer in Jesus, you were like, well, where the help coming from? The Japanese was with them. They was winning. And then there was this little thing called Pearl Harbor. And the Japanese hit a naval ship in Pearl Harbor. Because the U.S. was like, our hands are off. This don't have nothing to do with us. It's not our fight. It's not our battle. Won't have nothing to do with this. This y'all over there. We over here. And we staying over here. Minding our own good business. We looking though. And then there was this little thing called Pearl Harbor. And then Roosevelt said, wait a minute. Well, what? Wait, what? What you say? What you do? The cavalry came, help arrived. I imagine that's how it is with God. It looks like you're being beat on every side. It looks like you are losing. It looks like I don't know where help is coming from. I imagine that's what Israel thought when they were going through the desert. I imagine when Egypt was the world power and Egypt ruled everything and everybody. And then your next thing you know, the Egyptians were not the all-powerful ones. And then there you have. Then there was, oh, wait. No, Babylon is ruling the world. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Oh, wait. The Romans are ruling the world. Oh, no, they're not. Oh, wait, the Greeks are ruling the world. What am I saying? God is sovereign. Be still and know that I am God. He'll be exalted among the nations and in the earth. That he will fight for you. You have to only be silent. Wait for the Lord and be strong. Oh, and I know they're waiting to try to do it again. And so when you're in the middle of if you're in the middle of the hurricane, you're in the middle of the tornado, you don't see that the tornado is going to end. When the water is coming and the hurricane and the floods and you see the devastation, you don't see that the water will recede. Yes, and some stuff will be torn up. But there's not a place in this nation that has had hurricane devastation that has not rebuilt stronger and better. And so even in the middle of, God, I know. God, I need. God, where are you? Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Remind yourself that I will be anxious for nothing, but in all things by prayer, supplication, with thanksgiving. I will make my request known to God, and the peace of God that surpasses what I can understand will guard my heart and my mind. I'm going to keep my mind stayed on him because that way it can be in perfect peace. I'm going to keep my mind stayed on him. That way I can be still and I can be silent and I can be quiet. Because if I don't, my mind will start going at 120 miles an hour and I'll start making decisions that may not be the wisest in the moment. I'll say something that may not be the wisest thing to say in the moment. I'll make a deal that may not be the wisest for the long term. It may be good short term, but not at all wise long term. So let's wait on the Lord. Be of good courage. Let's wait for the Lord and be strong. Take courage. Jerry, we are all guilty, bro. We are all, well, let me say I am. I can't speak for everybody. Jerry and I are guilty of having made decisions or said things in the moment. Yeah, that was good for the short term right there. But long term, we realized that might not have been the best decision to have made. Some folk married the people right now they shouldn't have married. Oh, yeah. And so when God says, be still and be quiet, be still and be quiet because He will fight for you. All you got to do is be silent because our God is sovereign. Our God is in the heaven. He does all that He pleases. And remind yourself that we know that everything good, bad, up, down, otherwise, sideways, crooked, straight, bent. Whew. We know that all things are going to work together for our good, for those who are called according to His purpose. We know that we have obtained an inheritance and having been predestined according to the purpose of Him who works all things according to the counsel of His will. That we don't have to make a decision out of fear and desperation. We don't have to allow someone to manipulate us because we are fearful and desperate. Because whatever the Lord pleases, He does in heaven and on earth, in the sea and all the deep. Yeah. Daniel 4:35 says it this way. All the inhabitants of the earth are accounted as nothing. He does according to His will among the host of the heaven and the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay in His hand or say to Him, what have you done? So be still and be quiet. The Lord got this. He has mercy on whomever He wills. And even if you made the decision out of fear, even if you were manipulated into the decision, be reminded of what Joseph said to his brothers when they came to Egypt. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today. What you did, you meant for evil. But the Lord allowed it because He meant it for good, because He knew what we did. He knew what you didn't know. He knew what I didn't know, that me going into captivity into Egypt and that Mrs. Potiphar lying on me and that I'm now in the prison and with the baker and the other man, and I interpreted one of their dreams, and then they told the jailer that I interpreted a dream, and then the jailer told Potiphar, then the jailer told Pharaoh, and then Pharaoh said, well, you tell me what I dream, and then next thing I know, here I am second in charge to Pharaoh, and now there's a famine in the land and everybody hungry except us. Because the Lord meant it for good and gave me wisdom on how to do this. And now here y'all come all these years later, don't even recognize me. But what you didn't know decades ago, God knew, because He know everything. You didn't know it would turn out for our good. Because had I stayed where you were, we'd all starve to death. Yeah. Whew. So be still and be quiet. Wait for the Lord. Be strong. Let your heart take courage. I know you're saying, God, I don't have no more strength. But when you get to that point, cast all your anxieties on him, cast all your cares on him, because he cares for you. And then remind him, you take care of the birds in the air. You take care of flowers in the field. How much more will you take care of the one who is made in your image and according to your likeness? And you have not given me a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. Amen. Amen. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will see you in the morning. Y'all be blessed. Be praying for us this morning, about 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9 o'clock. We got something. We need the Lord's hand this morning. Amen. I thank you. See y'all tomorrow. Bye. Amen.